Oh, hey, and it's so good to have you having a chat with us again today after so many years. You've been AWOL for quite a while. So, girls, remember Owen Pomana, sorry, you say it.
Yeah, Pomana. Yeah, you said it
Pomana,
good.
Pomana. And remember, some of you might remember doing the homeless stuff with Owen, where you girls donated clothes and food and stuff like that. And then Owen took it out to the streets, where he was doing a whole lot of work for like 8 years out there on the streets in Auckland, eh?
Yeah, yeah, it was really good. It was amazing the community coming together, fed for 8 years on the streets outside the library, and then the Alan Melville Centre, and
Yeah,
also the church up in Ponsonby, Vineyard Church. Yeah,
amazing stuff, eh? Like that was a big, massive task for you, and then, or like a massive assignment for you, and then, suddenly, out of nowhere, you got called away to do another whole different assignment. So tell us what you're up to now.
yeah. Well, I was having a look at human sex trafficking work up in Switzerland in 2022, and I got to work alongside some people who have really amazing heart for trafficked girls and trafficked children, and that just blew me away. I had no idea the hugeness and the things that are happening in the underworld,
Mm,
um, of nations. And so New Zealand's not exempt either. It happens here,
mm. Not
and
squeaky
so
clean, yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
whole new subject. But I was there, and I was watching this news article when the war started with Ukraine and Russia, and there was a woman. She was carrying three children in her arms, and she was knee deep in the snow, and her fingers were dropping off. And she was trying to get to the borders. There were millions of people at that time that were trying to get out, and my heart dropped, and I thought, oh man, I got to do something, but I don't know I don't know how to, don't know what to. And so most of you know that I'm a Christian, and I just had a little internal conversation and said, Lord, if there's any way, can I go? And so I just sat on that, just that woman's expression of needing help, and I thought, oh, my heart dropped. And so then I started talking to some friends, and they said they had a friend that was up in Germany, and he was doing humanitarian work from driving vans 12 hours from Hungary across the borders into a part of Ukraine. And his wife said, "Would you like to do that?" And I said, "I'll do anything." And
Wow.
so we were doing runs for about 3 weeks, and then he said his friend was a butcher, and he was delivering medicine across to another part of uh, the Ukraine from Hamburg, Germany. And then they said that they wouldn't go any further because the war was getting pretty nasty, and they knew of two priests that were doing extractions, and they said, "Do you want to go and do that?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'll do anything." So
Yeah.
we started extracting people from going past tanks, and there were rockets and all
Brave.
sorts of nasty stuff happening.
Brave.
And we started rescuing people. And then I was asked if I wanted to go out to another very, very hostile part of um, Ukraine called Mariupol. There's a movie that's come out. It's an unbelievable movie about, I can't remember how many days it was in Mariupol, but there was a bus of about 100 families wanting to go to Romania, Brazov, and they said, do you want to help take that bus?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do anything." So I went out to Romania to a church, and we helped fund for an ablution block and just whatever we could. I shared needs to my networks online, and people were kind and generous to help with those needs. And
Mm.
then I knew there was an evangelist who was coming from the UK, and he was doing mass extractions, and I was able to sow close to $100,000 from people's generosity from New Zealand. Yeah, it
Amazing.
was crazy, man. I tell you, and we were taking in buses into East Ukraine, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to see. Was we only had room for like 500-600 people on the 12 buses that we had, and
Mm.
thank God I never had the decision to say that the bus is overloaded and you couldn't get on the bus. So I
Mm.
was watching the elderly get off the bus, and with kids screaming, do you know what I mean, as they stand there, and the buses are trying to roll out as the rockets are coming in over the top of the airport, and the kids at the back were screaming, you know what I mean, "Mama, Nana."
Oh,
Oh man, it made me cry. I mean, it's
I
like,
don't
well,
even know how you can like manage it emotionally, let alone physically. Like it's a massively physical job that you do, eh? But also like, you're driving along, you're hearing bombs and drones and all sorts of things going around you all the time. How do you just keep your head straight, and how do you keep peaceful? Like, how do you do this?
Well, for years, I learned that mentoring was really good. I have like what I call papas or fathers in the faith
Yeah.
that are older than me that I value in my life, and you need them because, you know, I'm human just like anybody else. I'm not perfect, far from perfect,
Mm.
but my conflict resolution is um, I can easily make a call to friends who said I've just seen some ugly stuff, heard some nasty things, and I don't know how to respond to it. And so, most of the time it's just, well, we just pray then, and so that's good for me.
Mm.
And so I don't have to. I know I don't have to carry the weight of the
Mm.
problems that I see because I choose to be there.
Yeah.
And coming from my background story, I've always thought, well, if it was penance in some sort of way, this is what I'll do. And there's something about watching um, families, get to live. But it's hard, man, because they live in their homes. They live in their school kids, school grounds and their
Mm.
school. They just live like us.
It's yeah. Yeah.
People who are displaced, they eat ice cream, they watch TV, they play in the playgrounds, they dance, they sing, they listen to YouTube,
Yeah.
just like you. And then all of a sudden, something nasty happens where an invading nation wants to come along and says, you'll have to move. And if you don't move, we'll just blow you up. And that's what's happening. It's like, the principles of goodness and kindness are not in war.
No. So
Really
just before
senseless.
you carry on with that, that's a good point actually, because people will be a little bit disillusioned about the Ukraine and Russian war. Like they might think, oh, Ukraine, they should just get rid of them quickly so that can all be over. Talk us through that. Like, what's your heart for that country?
Okay, so obviously, nations are governed by law,
Mm.
and governments are chosen by the people, and so Ukraine is a sovereign nation, and so the dialogue between what Russia wants to do is basically land grab. They have a vision of being the former USSR.
Yeah.
That land was gifted back through the Tsars, and obviously President Putin, his legacy is wanting to regain the USSR.
Mm.
Um, the other stuff that's on top. Listen, there's big money to be made in war,
Yeah.
right? These nations are for mass extermination. If you can look at it,
Mm.
is the world's too populated. So why not just exterminate a lot of people by all the weapons of mass destruction that they're using on people?
Wow. Wow. I
You
don't want
know,
to get too political and ask who's initiating it, but I kind of get it because I do follow it. But I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, it's just plain evil, eh? Just plain
there's
evil.
greedy people in just about every walks of life, in government and business, all those sorts of things. It's just in this case here, there's just great loss of lives. There's even if I was to touch on church, and if we're followers of Jesus, how would you respond with if your enemy's thirsty, give him a drink. If he's cold, give him the shirt off your back or your coat. Or if he's hungry, give him something to eat. And if he says really nasty things about you or does things, could you forgive him? And if you ask these on both sides, they'd probably say no. It would be
Mm.
an insult. Why? Because they've lost something. They might have lost their sister, a mother, property, things
Yeah.
they work for. So all this bitterness and hatred starts to come in, which
Mm.
is a kind of like a righteous sort of a thought at the start. It's like, no, he's just come in and murdered my sister, my
Mm.
brother, my grandparents, and so there's this hard place where people say, I don't have forgiveness right now,
Mm.
and so this bitterness can just go through generations, and obviously there's processes to everything. I mean, like you don't like for me, there's a lot of people gonna not like me just because I became Christian. I sorted my life out doesn't mean that some people have the same principles or thinking process. Think like, no, you did me wrong. I can't forgive you. Well, that's what they do. So, but for me, I can be I can be an example to meeting with people who are in hard places, and I don't have to say anything because me being there as a representation of someone's been thinking about them. I
Yeah.
just tell them God sent me. I said
Yeah.
I'm being sent on behalf of a nation. The
Yeah.
resources that I have are kindly donated by people. Some people I don't even know,
Mm.
and so I'm a representation of what kindness could look like for you.
Yeah, and it's such a like it's a real supernatural thing for you, eh? Because like literally, who's just watching TV one day and suddenly has this heart for a whole country? Like you literally just had like this supernatural download, like of love for this country, and now you're in it and you're like you're not going anywhere. You're like you just come back to get your things sorted and then go back again, and like you're just in it for the long haul, aren't you? It's like you've just definitely got a whole spiritual love for this country, yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're glitching a little bit. Sorry, your phone's glitching.
friends.
Gonna,
Good.
yep, you're good now.
I have friends that are looking after my apartment. One's a young 23-year-old nurse I go to church with. My place would be like living in a 6-star accommodation. And like, when I was leaving to come back home to get my passport done, that's the only reason why I came back. And to see my mummy.
Mm.
And got a purpose that. So he's really, 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 I'm really gracious for what he did. And there's a couple of other humanitarian girls that are friends with her that say, "Can we go and stay at your place while you're gone?" I said, "Yeah, you
Oh,
can
that's so
have
nice.
as many people as you like, of course, because my house is a respite house or a place of safety for
Yeah.
even when soldiers come up. Now I've just opened it up to people,
Mm.
and because people are seeing hard things. I've seen hard things. Yeah, my processing a little bit different, but do you know when you have coping mechanisms for people, it's whether you're in gangs, whether you're in a bike club, whether you're in whatever, they all have the same coping mechanisms. Whether it could be drinking, it could be drugs, it could be
Mm.
sex, it could be drink, whatever.
Yeah.
These are just things that people respond to try and block out something that's hurting,
Yeah.
especially the
Yeah. Yeah. So what are these people doing? Like how are they managing? Like how are they living?
well, a lot of people are afraid, and now they've, since they left, a lot of people had come back because now the nations have thought you've overstayed your kindness. Now go back home, and they'll
Oh,
be like, well, I've got no home to go back to.
wow.
Just imagine like country towns that have never seen sophisticated technology before. All of a sudden, see jets, rockets, helicopters, men with strange things on their heads. Do you know what I mean? Like sci-fi movie. This
Yeah.
stuff was like 100 years ago. It wasn't
Yeah.
common, but now it's common.
Mm.
There's an advancement. This is scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
Man, I get to watch my friends as we try to evacuate people 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out from a point of no return where we're saying your building's about to get smacked. They're not going to spare your building because we know exactly what they do. And
Yeah.
so that, and most of them, the elderly people say,
Yeah.
well, where are you taking me to? And we go
Yeah.
like, we're taking you to a place. And they said, that's not home for me. He goes,
Yeah.
the
And then
building's gonna,
what do they do? What do they do after
yeah.
that? That's their
He
home.
said, but your building's not. They're gonna crush your building. They went, we'd rather die in our home, and they
Wow.
just walk off. Man, I've got a story, man. We rescued an elderly man. We had to carry out his. It was in that video clip I sent to you, the news did, and
Mm.
we had to carry his wife out, and she was trying to, stop us from taking her out because it was her home. And then he stood at the door, and he was looking around the room like this before he put the padlock on it. And I know that he built that house with his hands.
Oh,
And
heartbreaking.
as we put him into the uh, back of the wagon, I'm driving along, I'm looking in the rear vision mirror. It's real. The seats are not nice. It's cold, but he's cuddling his wife. He's grabbing her hand, and there's a 3-hour journey, out from their home to a destination that they really don't know where they're going to.
That's hard. I don't know how you do it. I'm getting all teary just listening to your story. It's really, really hard. It's hard work. It's a hard calling. I don't know many people who could do it. And aside from that, we could back this chat up a little bit and talk about how you weren't even supposed to be out of the country, let alone in the country of your choice. So tell us a little bit about that.
Being out of the country.
No, the fact that you weren't even allowed to travel, just not even too many years back.
Yeah, I was the first original 501. You wouldn't mind to watch some stories on the news the other night on the hardship. So 501 is really a person of bad character that Australia doesn't want. So that's all it
You're
means
a
is
little daddy.
you're not welcome.
Yeah,
And so for me, I did terrible stuff for this stuff that I did because I was hurt and broken.
yeah,
And so, for me, I dreaded coming back to New Zealand because I just wanted to leave it all behind because of a broken relationship. I didn't know how to. I was young, didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to respond. All I knew was that hurt and that sucked. And like, I don't know what to do. So I ran. and I ended up homeless, and I fell into a family that took me in. It just happened to be a family of gangsters, but
Mm.
they still took me in. It just wasn't until I hit rock bottom through drug addiction and what I think was the good times, I ended up in prison, that I really had the time to think, like, I need help. Don't
Mm.
I help myself? So I thank the Lord that He'd even sent people before I even knew about Him. So as I say to people, the Bible is a really, really, all you're reading is a testimony, yeah, you're reading Jesus's testimony. Obviously, we don't live 2,000 years ago in Israel. I say to people, we don't live in that. We don't live in that time zone and that culture. That culture is different. We don't say shalom. We say here in New Zealand, kia ora,
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
going? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and so like I learned pretty quickly. I thought, well, so there's principles and stories. What, when, why, how does a story like that presented mean for me? Bring it into modern day thinking, and you'll get the gist of the stories, which is
Yeah.
really, really good.
Yeah.
What I did like about the story of Jesus, because I saw it in Pastor Ken, was that their ability to love on people who were hurting. So I got to see with my eyes, and I got to receive in my heart what love looked like for no
Mm.
reward. There
Yeah.
were it's like, man, what are you doing? And they'd be like, we just come out to bring some hope. And I said, yeah, you don't even know their names. And he goes, yeah, but God does. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, I can't even see God. I don't even know who He is. And why would He want someone like me? I'm just messed up. And
Yeah.
that was the beauty of it. And he said, well, that's just who He is. It's just been misrepresented by even religious people. And
Yeah.
so I just do life with people. If I get to present my Christian life story with people, I just do life. I'm okay with the people who don't like God. They're not
Yeah.
coming to a building called church, or,
Yeah.
I had one guy turn up. We brought him to the Lord, but he brought his can of beer.
Yeah.
And this is to a
Fair
country house church. And people are like, he's got beer in his head. I said, leave him alone.
enough.
He's sitting there and he's listening to the
He's
preacher and trying to
enjoying
figure
the
out how
food.
this works. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's all right. Just let him drink his beer. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Let God clean that stuff up when He wants to in His time. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like your story is so good because you were actually such a mess. You were absolutely broken to right to the absolute pit of everything. Like I know that you were on drugs. I know that you were in prison. I know that you did some other stuff that was pretty hard out, like stuff that you would have to process, and then.
Mm,
And then you ended up not being able to. So the 501 thing, you weren't actually even allowed out of the country or to travel internationally, were you? So
yeah.
the fact
I,
that
I when God said He was going to send me, like, first thing I did when I came home, my mum was quite concerned. She said, "Son, what are you going to do with your life?" And I'd heard God's voice, and I heard the audible voice in my heart when I was wrestling with coming back to New Zealand, because I didn't want to come back to New Zealand because I had bad memories. That's why I
mm,
left.
yeah,
And then I had the extra things of now I've got to try and, they're going to ask me about my story, even my mum, and like, that's so embarrassing. But
mm,
my mum was really taken back when I told her I had a broken heart. She said, you couldn't speak to me. And I said, I didn't know how to.
mm.
No, mum, but you weren't the reason why I went off the rails. But I'm really glad to come home. It took my mum 12 years to actually look me in the eyes and say to me that she loved me. Do you know what I mean? That
Oh,
really meant something to me. And I
why did your mum, why was she like that? Why was it so hard for her to say that?
Oh, I know that was the verbal waging. She probably may have meant it as a mum. Most mums will love their children regardless, but the way I think in my heart, I'd never heard that come from my mum's voice. After she goes, "What are you going to do with your life?" And I said, "God's going to send me around the world." She just about choked on his cigarette. You know what I mean? It's like, how are you going to do that with 12 pages of criminal convictions and
Yeah,
and and no money, no
yeah,
job? And I said, I don't know.
you don't
And
know,
she told
but you just
everyone,
know
he's
that
gone
you're
crazy.
going to. Yeah.
Yeah. There's two things I know about people who've been to prison. This is what you'll face. They're going to go, oh my God, he's become Jesus freak. And the second one's, he's going to come out twice as bad as what he's done. That's what they're thinking. Either the
Yeah,
Jesus freak or he's going back to prison somehow.
yeah.
But that wasn't, and she told everyone, oh, he's gone crazy. And, within like 6 weeks, God
Thanks,
started
Ma.
to bring these things. Man, I didn't, as I said before, I didn't know how to read the Bible. My first opportunity of trying to read it was in a prison cell. There
Yeah,
was no one to talk to. I was
yeah,
I was really lonely. And it
yeah,
stunk of pee. I've
yeah.
been in a prison cell. It stunk of pee. And then I saw the Bible and I grabbed it. I called it the thing, and
You
I
what?
grabbed it, and then I called the Bible the thing. I had the thing in my hand,
Thing,
and
yeah.
I'm looking up to the ceiling because I don't know, that's where God lives in the prison cell. And I said, "Hey, hey, I know you're real. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know how to speak to you. I don't know how to do this thing. I got your thing in my hand, and like, I'm just gonna get on the ground, right? And can you do something?" So I said to God, "Can you do something?" Do you know what he did?
Yeah.
The room, the room, kind of like it filled with the smell of flowers,
Wow.
right? It smelled the what's those purple flowers? Lavender.
Lavender
Oh,
and no
you know,
pee.
I started laughing. I'm on the ground, I'm laughing like this, and I went, "What's that?" And his
Wow.
voice said, "That's my presence." I went, "Well,
Wow.
like flowers?" He goes, "Yeah."
Wow. Mm.
Like flowers? He goes, "Yeah." I went, "Well, that's different." This is how I communicate with God, who's
Yeah,
outside of any book. He's I look out the window, I can see him in the flowers, I can see him in creation, I can see him in things. And this is what he said: when you see that, you see me.
yeah, yeah. And it was what a simple way to communicate, eh? It's like just
Yeah.
his
He
heart.
uses people usually. He sent me into the nations so I could see people who were gifted and see this language, the apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. These are workings of specifics in ministry. But he sent me to people that were of no reputation, but they were
Mm,
clearly, they were clearly loving pastors, and I got to see them loving on people. And I thought, that's really cool. What are you doing? They said, well, this is what if this is a reflection of what Jesus could look like living in us, we just live it. And we're like,
yeah,
whoa, that's
yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
so
So
I got to,
no corporate church, no like levels.
yeah, yeah, there wasn't any of that. It was
Just
just like,
everybody's on the
oh,
job.
we just preach the gospel. We just preach good news. It's good news. It's a
Yeah.
great love story. So I thought, what? It's the greatest love story ever. We're like, wow. I thought I was unlovable.
Oh, and you do love people. Like I watch all your live streams and that, and like there's pretty much nobody who you can't connect with. Like I was just interviewing this guy the other day, and I was like to him, you have a daddy heart that
Mm,
women feel really safe with, and you've got that exact same heart. It's just such a beautiful presence and
mhm.
just a real daddy heart, and everybody feels loved in your presence. So that's your presence is God's presence, eh? So that's
Oh,
how it works, eh?
but to be so much more. It took me a while to believe that God was a father. Do you know what I mean? So because my father was a little bit heavy-handed, just like most of the people in my era,
Yeah.
and I had to be convinced. Like Jesus said, if you see me, see my father, and be like, whoa,
Yeah. Oh,
well, we're
don't
one.
really want to
And
see
like,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a piece of scripture which says, in the book of remembrances, and open in the presence of the Father for those that think and meditate upon his name, said he writes their name in his book. So I was thinking, like, what, God is real intimate? He goes, yeah, I said to people in church the other day, I said, I feel led in my heart that Papa God is really, 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 really blessed in his heart that you found time for him. Actually, the Trinity, Father,
Mm,
Son, and Holy Spirit, thank you for making time for them. And
mm.
I saw the crowd go,
Oh.
yeah. And so God, he's
Oh,
moved that you make time for him. You
wow.
could have gone somewhere else, but you turned up, not to see Owen, but
Yeah.
to see what he's doing in and through people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I tell stories, I'm telling you stories on behalf of many people who
Mm,
make this up. There's many people who pray for me, many who give finance, they sow in. So I
mm,
represent many people
mm.
in the stories that I share. It's not
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're literally just the person who's going, but you're on behalf of everybody who can't go. So tell us a little bit more about Ukraine because you've got a heart for those people. You're extracting them on the daily. This war doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. It's just like an ongoing thing. So there's needs for you over there because
Yeah.
there's lots of big things you need to be able to continue this work. So tell us about that.
Well, I sold one of the last time to get to Ukraine, I sold my Mercedes and I sold a trailer
Yeah,
that
wow.
sustained me for a year. I just sold my Hilux yesterday because I've got my eyes on a bulletproof van.
Yeah.
Me
What
having
do
a
you need?
mobile home here, I've got a mobile home I'm trying to sell. And, oh, my friend has just turned up at the door. Can we hold
Yeah.
that and I'll bring him in? Do
Yeah.
you know Joseph Wilson?
Don't know actually.
Oh, he's got an amazing ministry. Yeah. So, hey, Joe. Woo-hoo! Come over here. Hang on.
Retweet.
Come over this way. I'm just stuck in a thing. Hide in my. Look how big this house is, man. It's
That's
huge.
amazing, eh?
I'm on a Zoom call. Come. You can come and join. Not long. Come in. This Joseph. Joseph's got a mean ministry. He travels all over the world as well.
All right. Well, you guys,
Taylor.
all your things.
Yeah. We're just doing a
Right.
Zoom call, but
Oh,
that's okay.
Joseph.
Come in.
Hi,
Come in.
Joseph.
Come in.
I know Joseph.
You know Joseph?
He was my coach for a little bit.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
That's weird.
How are you?
Good. Come and sit. We'll just finish this.
Yeah.
This will go real quickly.
That's crack up.
Like the small house.
That's very funny. I was just thinking about it the other day.
He was just thinking about you the other day.
Oh, it's time for me to, maybe I better do an interview with you next, Joseph.
Yeah. You could do that next. Fine. This is God's setup.
Yeah.
He rang me before and see what he up to, and I said, "Bro, go for a walk around and have a look." Right, and if you feel like jumping in the pool, go and jump in the pool.
Yeah, go
Oh,
do
there's
all
a
the
sparkle
things.
over there. No cats in there, no problem. All right, sorry.
Oh,
what were
that's
we talking
hilarious.
about? Oh,
Okay, so that's so cool. That's good to see him. I was thinking about him too, actually. So what your needs in Ukraine are pretty big. So talk us through that and what, because it's a lot of stuff you need.
yeah. So I'm investing in a bulletproof wagon. I've just sold my Hilux, and I'm after 90,000 US. So I think I got close to that, but I also need to put a drone jammer on the top of it, which is about $2,500 US. That's the drone jammers drop the little nasty things that come and blow you up. We actually lost a van. We've lost 4 vehicles and 1 life.
Yeah, I was just going to say, was that guy one of the ones who came with you to do inspections? That one who just passed not long ago?
I had not met him, and I was actually picking up a New Zealand soldier in Kiev. I wasn't on that operation on that day. God took me out. I can share like 10 times when in the natural I would have been there, but God supernaturally put me somewhere else.
Plan for the day. Far
Yeah.
out.
My heart weeps for that young man, because he's got a daughter. He's got a young family, but he died doing something that was courageous, that heroic.
Yeah.
The Ukrainian people that I work with, they don't have the technology. I turn up in a flash van and put a drone jammer on top, and they're like, "Wow!" Like, I'm going to get you one too, and I'm going to get you a jammer, and I want to get you this, and so I tried my hardest, to try and support my friends when I can.
And that's your part, eh? You just want to make sure everybody's okay, so you can go in and get those people, and everyone get out safe.
Yeah. And so, and I feed them. Like you guys don't know it, but most of you guys feed just about all my humanitarian teams, because they like going out with Pastor Owen, because
we go to the petrol station
and be like, "Yeah, get your pie." Well, they don't have pies, actually. Get something to eat. And so, no, I really love that, because it's an overflow in my and the Lord's ministry upon my life.
Yeah,
that's His goodness and kindness. I don't have any lack.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sharing for needs. When I share needs, it's an opportunity for people to partner into work, but it's not an obligation. I'd never have to beg for anything.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're like probably one of the people who I notice who you don't even actually ask. You just share, and then you say what the need is. But I never hear you actually asking, because you're going to get the thing that you need anyway, because it's like grace of God on your life, eh? So you're just going to get it. It's amazing. The food thing, that's definitely a love language of yours. I think it might be like sharing food with people, and you always make me feel like boil up for some reason.
Yeah, Mum cooked me one the other night, but the only problem is when she cooks a big pot, you have it the next day and the night after that, I'm like, "What's for tea?" Boil it. Oh, that's great, Mum. Great, love it. Like the first 2 days is great, but going on to the 3rd and 4th day, it's like, wish we had animals. Like, there's no cats or dogs around.
Feed it too without upsetting mother.
Yeah. But God bless Mum. That's really good. The last conversation I just had with her before I left there is, "You're going when the lights go out, Mum?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm going to heaven." I said, "Of course you are. Please don't be fearful of my life. I'm not fearful of you. I celebrate, because God's promise for you, because it's a free gift, right? As eternity in the kingdom of Him, He'll just take care of it, and that's why I'm not worried, Mum. Don't worry about it." She goes, "But you're not allowed to beat me to heaven." I said, "Deal.
Do my best."
And so it's easy for me to love on my mum now, because I don't fret, because the God that I know allows me to pray for people who don't even like Him.
Wow.
People not even thinking about God. We have opportunities to be friends with people, and it's okay to be friends with people who don't like what we like.
Yeah. Yeah. Far
You
out.
know, do life with people. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it gets easier as you go on the journey, like of you know, being around people who are who can be unlikable, but the more you do it, probably the bigger your heart gets for people because you see everybody's just different levels of broken.
Yeah, we don't need to convince people. All we got to do is manifest kindness, love, which is who Jesus is. If we were to be kind of like a reflection of what he could look like, well, he's so much more. But like, at least we can try. Are we perfect? No, I mess up all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when the bombs fall, they said, "You swore," and I said, "Yeah, Freddie."
I heard that today. You said cat and fish. I didn't actually say.
Yeah. So like, I can't be stoned for saying nasty things because Russians dropped bombs on me.
But you know what though, the thing is, it's like just so nice and refreshing to have real and authentic because at the end of the day, we're all just human, and I'm a little bit over, and I think lots of people are a little bit over the whole religious, and again, I said the corporate because you know everyone can be really good on Sunday and like be really like everyone can hold their tongue on Sunday, but what are they like from blah blah blah, you know, Sunday to Sunday again. And I just rather people just be real and say, oops, you know, I swear, whoops, you know, like who cares? God
That's
doesn't
true.
God doesn't care.
Who cares? That's true. You just only you know you and God knows you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's a journey.
Yeah.
You know, we'll learn from the journey, and most of the times that we're in uncomfortable places, but you know, you'll get to live. And you'll know how to do things because when you have friends and mentors in your life, you know, it really is. It's life breathing. It's goodness, kindness, and like get invited anywhere to speak. Like, Pastor Owen, you want to speak? We're like, really? Well,
You're so humble, eh? Like you're so humble, and you are just Scotch, and even me telling you that you're humble, you're probably like, ugh. But you actually are. You're just so humble. You'll go anywhere, and you still are just exactly the same wherever you go. You don't whether you go to some top fancy place or on TV or wherever or on this call, wherever you go, you're exactly the same person, and that's how you know you're a real person doing the real work that you've been set out to do. And I love it.
glory to
I love
Jesus.
it. So
The work in action.
so blimmin' refreshing. Love it. Okay, so I'm gonna drop some links and stuff like that for people to connect with you because just to follow your journey, if nothing else. But you know, if they want to support, obviously they can contact you and we can put some details up for that as well.
Yeah.
But let's keep in touch in that. And like, I mean, I don't know how you keep in touch in Ukraine. You might probably can't, but we can. Just...
Oh yeah, I do. I open my Facebook as my online diary. You're actually reading my journey into the heart of God with an open heart with people to look at all the nuts and bolts and the missing pieces in my life and challenges. Some people say, "When do you put a book out?" And we say, "You're reading it."
You are exactly, exactly. Yeah. I read it every day. Every single time you put something up, I'm like, whoa, this is happening. And then you know, you wake up at 3 a.m. and you've got bombs going off around you, and like you're like, oh, that was a bit close. And it's like, oh, this is actually
standing in your underpants, looking out the window, going, I wonder where that land. Oh, I'll go back to bed now.
That was quite close. Oh, look, everything's looking up in the sky. All right, I'm going back to bed now. I do
Yeah. Hey, thank you for the opportunity to come and share with you again. Again, it's a real privilege and honor, even at this stage of my life, you know, that people still care.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can do wonderful things in your community. You don't have to come to Ukraine to be in war.
Yeah.
There's people warring right now in our communities that are hurting, that are broken, that are hungry, don't know how to pay bills, don't like their boss, don't like their kids, whatever the thing is in people's hearts. You know what I mean? We have opportunities to connect with them. You know, sometimes you don't even have to say anything because it's not the words that people are after, looking for comfort. You know what I mean? But knowing that friendship is a really cool space. You know what I mean? And you know, being able to be in a position to be counseled, nurtured, fathered, mothered is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a good thing. People care.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. There's actually not enough people who care, and we were talking about that at the front end of this call before we push record, and that is that people's hearts are a little bit desensitized, and you know, there's not as much care as there could be in the world. Like,
yeah. Well, if these things encourage people, then that's a good thing. And always can tell your mum she's lovely. Yeah.
Love our
So,
mummy.
you know, if you need to forgive people, go and forgive them.
Oh,
You know, don't live in your bitterness all your life. Do something that's going to bring peace in
yeah,
your life.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Love that. Love
Find
that.
time to heal. Healing takes time.
It
Do what
does.
it takes to live. Live for your kids. Live for your partner.
Mm,
God's a dream maker. He's a promise keeper. He won't
mm,
let you down. Do you know what I mean? He's really faithful.
mm.
Not
I'm watching that outwork in your life. So there's no denying at all that God's faithful, because you're alive, you're traveling, you're doing amazing things, and we all support you and love you and think you're amazing.
Glory to
Okay,
Jesus.
well, awesome for the thanks for the chat, and we'll keep in touch. And I'm going to pop this up, and and we'll just keep following the journey.
No problem. Yeah, we'll connect sometimes, and maybe in a week I'll get my driver. When we're going in to get some elderly in there, I'll send you a shout out.
Yeah,
And when we're in our combat gear going into a place.
that would be awesome, and then we'll pop it in the group.
No problem.
Awesome. Okay, say hello to Joseph again for me and tell him.
He's right there.
Hi, bye.
Bye. He'll be in contact.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.